Hey there, what's up? Welcome to Cultivate. I'm your host, Rochelle Gordon, cannabis copywriter at Boveda. Happy 420 to everybody, wherever you are. My guest today is Evan Nison, owner and founder of Nison Co. Welcome, Evan.
Thanks for having me.
So
Happy
great
420.
Thanks, same to you. It's an awesome day. So let's dive right into it. So in addition to, running one of the top PR cannabis firms, you're also heavily involved in advocacy and have been for a long time. You're the youngest board member of NORML. You also sit on the board of SSDP. Tell me a little bit about your advocacy journey, especially now on the East Coast. You're from New Jersey. We've seen New Jersey and New York go legal. So tell me a little bit about that journey and how it is to see legalization happen in your home state.
It's definitely great to see. I was working on legalization in New Jersey, New York since about 2009, like the end of 2008 maybe. So it's definitely come a long way for sure. It was interesting to see it go from completely taboo here about a decade ago to watching legislators in both states sort of talk about it like it's a no-brainer on the floor of their respective legislatures.
Now, you worked on both of the bills, correct?
Yeah. Both in New York and New Jersey. I helped lobby, at least in some degree, in New York back in when the bill was first introduced in 2013, and then I stayed a little bit more involved in New Jersey through the remaining years.
What are some of the differences between New Jersey and New York's bills?
They're actually similar in a lot of respects. So social equity is taken very seriously in both bills, but they're done differently. So in New Jersey, you have 70% of the revenue going to communities where prohibition has made the worst impact, the biggest negative impact. New York, it's 40%. But New York has a goal of having 50% of the licenses be equity participants. New Jersey doesn't have that goal, but it's going to be strongly encouraged. Both states are allowing people with prior convictions to have licenses. So, if you're in the illicit industry or even if you got caught, you'll be allowed to get a license, which I think is really important. The biggest deal to me probably is that New York has home grow and New Jersey doesn't. Home grow is not allowed in New York right now. It's delayed, but they will have home grow and New Jersey doesn't. That's the biggest problem still outstanding in my mind is the harsh penalties for home grow in New Jersey.
Do you think that's something they can reconcile down the road?
Yeah, for sure, especially now that New York did it. That's going to make our job here in New Jersey much easier to get that done, I think.
So along those lines, how will legalization in New York and New Jersey sort of affect the East Coast and maybe nationwide legalization?
Well, we're already seeing Connecticut move very quickly. We saw some votes in Rhode Island committees the day after New York legalized. So it's already happening. Even in New York, if you watch the debate, the day they passed it, they were talking about New Jersey and Connecticut. Now they're talking about New York and New Jersey. Legislators in Pennsylvania are now starting to talk about New York and New Jersey. So the dominoes are falling much quicker here than even on the West Coast because we're all so closely packed. The East Coast has a lot of states densely packed. Also, we have a lot of federal representatives. Senator Booker now, pretty much he always was very supportive of this, but now he pretty much has a mandate from his state that he's representing New Jersey to work on this even, to prioritize this even higher. Chuck Schumer, who represents New York, a day or two after New York legalized, came out and said that the U.S. Senate that he's going to move legalization in the U.S. Senate with or without Biden support. So I think the biggest impact is both the dominoes falling on the East Coast and then the federal representatives that represent these states are pretty much requires representatives by definition should be now supportive of legalization.
Right. Their constituents want it, so therefore they should offer what their constituents are demanding. So that would make perfect sense. And so how likely do you think federal legalization would be after Chuck Schumer's comments? It's not quite clear where President Biden stands on legalization. What do you think is coming?
I think it's likely we'll see movement on it in some way, shape, or form, whether that's federal decriminalization or an actual full framework on the federal side, where they set up a regulatory body and things like that. I think it will be difficult for these 4 years to pass, or I wouldn't even say these 4 years, but it would be difficult for Schumer, especially now that he said it, and the Democratic Congress not to do something while they still have power, I think. So my guess is that they'll do everything they can to try to move something, whether I said, like I said, whether it's decrim, which is probably enough on the federal level as long as they remove all the criminal penalties, or full legalization and regulation, a regulatory framework on the federal level. I don't think the federal government is ever going to try to require states to do it. They'll just either have a system that states are welcome to join, or just decriminalize and allow states to do whatever they want.
Yeah, based on Schumer's comments, I have to assume that it will be more like the latter, where it will be a state's issue, which frankly it should be. So. Yeah,
I agree with that, for sure. Yep, that's my guess too. And Biden has said he's for decriminalization. He hasn't exactly said what decriminalization means yet, but if a decriminalization bill gets to his desk, I imagine he would have a very politically difficult time not signing it.
I would tend to agree with that, for sure.
Yeah.
This is a curveball I've been throwing, Evan, so get ready for this one. Do you have any favorite 420 memories that you want to share? Off the subject of policy, but it is 420 after all.
There's so many. I went out to Colorado. I think it was the first legal 420. That was good. There was a Cannabis Cup, I believe. And then there's also a couple memories just from college. Like I remember just like hotboxing our apartment, and the point where I was like sitting on the couch and I couldn't even see the person who walked in the front door because there was so much smoke. I think we got like a few ounces and all just split it and like lit it up at the same time. Shit like that. Just fun memories from college mostly.
I love it. Yeah, I had an Easter egg hunt once. I think it fell, on Easter or very close to Easter one time, and had a special Easter egg hunt, but 420 themed. People seem to like that. So
I like that. Yeah.
What's popping off with Nison Co lately?
Everything's going well. We're always making improvements, process improvements, team improvements, trying new things. And we now actually have like a full-blown SEO department, which is exciting. So we're public relations and SEO. And I geek out about the SEO. Actually, I'll stay up like all night just like looking at numbers and tweaking things. But everything's going well. No complaints.
That's awesome. Yeah, all of you listeners, if you need a boss, PR, or SEO provider, hit up Evan. How can people get a hold of you if they want to reach you, Evan?
You can go to nisonco.com, N as in Nancy, I, S as in Sam, O, N as in Nancy again, CO like company.com, or just hit me up at evan@nisonco.com.
Awesome. Well, Evan, so great to have you on Cultivate. Thank you so much for coming. Evan Nison, owner, founder of Nison Co PR, board member at Normal and SSDP. Happy 420.
Happy 420. Thanks for having me.